Hey everyone, welcome to the channel, and if this is your first time here, I'm so happy you stopped by. On this channel, I react to all kinds of videos from around the internet, whatever's interesting, surprising, funny, thought-provoking. If it's worth talking about, we're diving into it together. Now, before we get started, if you enjoy the vibe, feel free to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think too. Alright, let's jump in and watch this together.
All this stuff.
Hello, Mr. Samuel.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay. How old are you?
I am 29.
All right. So what are we talking about?
Okay, Mr. Samuel, I just heard you say, if we just give men what they really want, then we will be able to be married and have a good life with the man. I disagree.
You have any children?
I do. I have a son.
And were you married?
Was I married when I conceived? No.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I disagree because I'm a social worker. So I'm in the helping field, and I just got out of a long-term relationship. And when I was in the relationship, he would tell me, okay, I want to go back to school. I want to pursue my degree. I want to finish, I want to finish my degree. So I thought okay, great. Let me come up with a plan on, let's see how we can get your degree. Let's see what type of money we got to put in for you to do this. But when it came down to it, that's not what he really wanted to do. So
Hold on. Are you judging all men based upon what you're talking about?
I'm not, but
Are you sure? Because you said you did. Okay, you say you disagreed, but I allowed you to speak, and you spent the better part of a minute describing your situation.
And like I was saying at first, I'm a social worker, so I work with a lot of women, and I work with a lot of I work with a lot of single women.
But do you ever get the father side of the story?
No.
Thank you.
I'm
sorry. Hold on, ma'am. You get one side. There are three sides: hers, his, and the truth. And guess what? I can pull up video after video of women breaking the law, lying, and females believing it. 74-year-old man in Idaho Springs was tasered, framed, and stroked out because his neighbor, who was drunk, high, and had multiple felonies, lied and said he had them. Go look it up, guys. And that guy didn't get anything. And you know what? The female cop was over there. This old man, they tasered him in his own home, planted evidence on him, and they were more concerned with the woman who was drunk and high. So, women tend to believe women's sob stories. And you cannot be an intelligent person and tell me just because you're a social worker, hearing one side of the story, knowing you're a single mother predisposed to having a heart for women, that you're getting a balanced picture. Logically tell me that's what you're doing.
No, what I'm saying is I'm not only am I a social worker, I am a female, and I do work with a lot of single women that I have seen.
A lot of single women who choose to marry before they carry, do things out of order, and you don't get the father's story, right?
I'm speaking about dating, Mr. Samuel.
No, ma'am, I'm speaking about you're trying to set the table in a bullshit way. Do these women in social work come in here and they're married women who have children as a result of marriage and their husbands are still around?
Some, yes, sir.
Some, what percentage? 1 in 4 Black women were married. Careful.
Married about 6%.
So 94% of these women aren't.
Yes, sir.
So when you say some, I don't understand why y'all do that. Some, if your kid came home and said, "Mom, here's my grade," and he gave you an F minus, you said, "Boy, you didn't get nothing. What did you do? You got an F minus?" I got some of them right. You got 6 right, but you got 94 wrong. You'd be like, oh, okay, so you got all right. You're already starting off wrong. And I'm going to tell you, in your relationship, you were wrong too. Let me tell you why. Because you said he decided he wanted to go to school. So something like that. He wanted to go to school. And
He
immediately
wanted
you
to
pulled out
finish
your dick.
school.
And immediately you pulled out your dick. And immediately you pulled out your penis. You started figuring out what to do and how to this and how to that. That ain't your job. It was for him to figure it out. He just said what he wanted to do. Did he ask you to go do all that? Did he say, I want to finish school? Did he ask you to go do all that? I hear you. Thank you. Put up your dick. So, I mean, just saying, many of our women, you're listening to 94% of women by your stats who aren't married, who are living at a level where they need social work. And you expect to hear good stories about men, and you don't even pay attention, and you don't listen to the father's standpoint. Well, I tell you what, Miss Social Worker, why don't you go interview the fathers to understand what they're dealing with these mothers, because they can't all be angels.
Yes, sir.
And another thing, are you saying that men are not consumers? Where in the world, if you give a market what it wants, does it not buy it if you can afford it?
Well, that's even with me. With if I go to Dillard's, if I go into Dillard's and I get in the Dillard's and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy this perfume. Like, I got my mind set, I'm gonna buy this perfume. But if nobody's actually selling it to me, or if I don't feel like I want to spend my money in this store this time, I'm not gonna do it.
Excuse me, man. You changed it. You see what you did? If I go into Dillard's and I already got my mind made up and they don't have it, or I don't have the money. Excuse me.
They don't sell it to me.
Man, I want you guys to understand this is what they do. This is how their logic works. I said, where do you go if you give a market what it wants and it has the money to purchase and it doesn't buy? You just made up a story where I'll go to Dillard's and I got my mind made up. And that's the problem. Most women don't buy what they should buy. They buy the motherfuckers they make babies with and come into your office needing help with. That's what they do. Instead of shopping at Dillard's, they should have been somewhere else. Man, you're putting the problem on men. There are not enough men. You're saying that men would not make a lot. Why? Okay, then why? Let's play it the other way. Then why would men, if women were offering men in mass in general what they wanted, why would these men choose to remain single?
I think greed. I really do. I think greed. I think, I can get something from her, but let me see what she has to offer. Let me see if it's just a little bit better.
See, guys, what you're doing is, see, women think because everybody will fuck them, they think men have as free sexual options. How does the average man have greed in the sexual marketplace? You know how hard it is for most guys to get laid? 30% excuse me. 30% of men 30 or under report not having sex. 30% of men under 30 are virgins. But you can have somebody like Gabrielle Sidibe. And what do women say? Somebody will fuck her because somebody will. Women think there's something called attraction symmetry. They think just because they can go out and offer their vagina to the market, they know somebody will take it. If I walk out and offer my penis to the market, somebody will. But will as many people, how about this? If you go in a room of 100 men and say, I'm clean, I got no diseases, I just want to hook up one night stand, no string, no attachments. Out of 100 men, how many think are going to smash?
If we got 30% of virgins, then
No, you're mixing things. Don't play games with me. Put your 100 men in a room, 100 men, not 30% virgin, just 100 men. How many gonna smash?
I don't know, Mr. Sanders.
Really? Just give me a number. Heterosexual men, no. You want to have sex? You clean? How many men you think will smash?
Maybe 80.
All right. And if I put 100 women in a room with the same kind of man, average man, How many women you think gon' fuck?
Maybe 60.
Guys, that's the problem. They think, excuse me, look in the comment section. I understand, man. No, when it's over, women think it is easy for men to get sex. As they think it's just as easy for men to get sex as it is for them. Because women only think about, when they talk about the sexual marketplace, you talk about the men you're interested in, not 100% of men. If 60% of men were out here, anyway. So no, that number is high. I would say closer to the best pickup artists. The best pickup artists, the guys who have all the game, who study this stuff, report a 10% close rate. 10. And these are the guys who are the game masters.
Okay.
So you're saying that if you offered men an opportunity to women were offering men what they wanted, and they didn't have to be in the game anymore, you're saying they would stay in the game because of greed, implying they could get more.
Yes, sir.
They don't get it, guys. They don't get it. They don't get it. No, ma'am. I just told you that makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. How can guys, if 30% of men aren't having sex, why would they stay in the market if they were getting what they want from a woman?
To gain more.
More of what? What are they already getting if they're virgins?
We're not talking about the 30.
No. We're going to talk. No, yes, we are, because they are part of the 100. And see, that's the point. This is so foreign of a concept. No offense, man. I really mean no offense. But your mind can't even wrap your head around the concept. It doesn't even compute with you. It's like, well, I don't want to talk about that because that's so far outside of my. And all the men are like, what are you talking about? That's the real world. You can't get rid of the 30. That's there. So if 100% of men are out there and 30% under the age of 30 aren't having sex, if you gave men what they wanted, which is just a fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, childless companion, women were saying, okay, the majority of us are that. You say men would say, instead of taking you and going off and having consistent sex in a relationship, I would rather stay out here dating, spending my money, time, and opportunity for the possibility of sex. The possibility.
We know all men are not spending their money on women to have.
I don't really give a shit about the money aspect. See, you've lost. No. But the thing is, I'm not trying to be funny. That's not the point. The point is a bigger point. The point is you have just demonstrated why there's such a disconnect. You ladies have no idea what it's like to be a man. You are so disconnected from us because all your life is spent around talking to women and listening to their stories and everything else. And when I tell you about what's going on with men, you still think that, well, that's like this. That's like this. Okay, change it from men to women. You're hungry, right? You ever been to a restaurant and there was a wait and you're hungry, right?
Yes.
All right. And there's 2-hour wait, and the next closest restaurant is 40 miles away.
Okay.
And it's gonna be a wait there too.
Sure.
You sitting there waiting, and then they come along and say, well, we can sit you and your guest not at your favorite table. We can sit you at this booth, or we can sit you at the bar. And then right now, or you can wait 2 hours. What do you do?
I'm gonna go sit at the bar because I want my.
Thank you, because human beings are. Thank you, and that's exactly what men are doing. If you give men what they want, how they want it, they'll sit at the bar. They won't wait to go have a chance to sit in out there or go to another restaurant. Thank you for making the point that you understand human beings operate on incentives. Mm-hmm. That's how men operate too. Men will say, if you give me what I want right now, I don't need I'll take the bar. The bar is a woman giving men what they want. They won't go out here and say, well, I'll try for a better seat. Does that make sense?
That's a restaurant. Of course, we're gonna move faster with a
Holy
restaurant.
shit.
But
Holy
if
shit.
a man wants to go see their favorite, Mr. Samuels,
No,
I'll
ma'am,
let you
no.
talk.
You're gonna let me talk, that's my show. But no, you're acting like, do you understand why people use sports analogies to explain the complex concepts?
That's
Do
where I
you?
was going. I do, yeah.
Because people can relate. I used the restaurant analogy because the sexual marketplace seems to be outside of your ability to relate, but you can relate to a restaurant. And now you're going to tell me, no, those things are different.
Mrs. Tammy, when you used your analogy, when you used your point, when you said if you walk in the room and 100 men in there, how many do you want to have sex? You took the 30 out of it. So when it comes to my
No. I said if you walked into a room with 100 men and you said I'm down to fuck 100 of you, how many would smash?
But you took the 30% of virgins out of that 100.
No, ma'am. That's the sexual marketplace. There's a millions. And even, okay, let's take it that way. Even if it was 30% virgins, those virgins would fuck you. If you were offering free pussy to a virgin, no cost, no zip, are you crazy?
So it's not, and then there goes to show you again, your other point is invalid when it comes to
No, it's not.
When
guys,
it comes to dating.
I want you guys to understand. I'm going to upload this. This is really female logic. This is really what it is. This is really what it is. She thinks she's really making points.
I am, Mr. Samuels. I wholeheartedly, I really feel like men are greedy. Men are really out to get. It's to the highest bidder. Whoever has the most value, whoever family comes from the most fortune, that's the woman that wins. I have worked so many places before I became a social worker.
This is why women shouldn't be in charge of nothing.
Can I finish?
Oh, don't do that. This is why women should be in charge of nothing. I'm serious, ma'am. You're talking about out of men, 100% of men. What percentage of men are you talking about?
I'm talking about 75% of men.
So, ma'am, the 75% doesn't even line up with the 30% of the virgin. You can't be greedy in a virgin.
But you just said that if I was to walk in a room and the 30% of virgins was there, the virgins would have.
Ma'am, do you understand? Do you understand an example and a closed? Okay. See, there's something called like an example where you're putting like a little test case over here, and then there's the real world. You're an educated woman. You should be able to bounce between these concepts. You're trying to make it all the same thing. And this is what I told you guys. Men's minds are like waffles. We can compartmentalize and logically move through things. 1 0 1 0, open, close, on, off. We can do that much easier. Women's minds are like spaghetti. Everything touches. The logic runs through their feelings. That's why she keeps saying, I feel. Because to them, it's all one stream of consciousness. So to her, she really believes she is just on this logical path. And she doesn't realize that all the men are sitting back saying, you're talking about a small set of men extrapolating it out to all. Men are greedy. How can men, the average black man in this country earns $42,000, okay? That's $21 an hour. How can a man whose average earner be greedy in the sexual marketplace?
Because they date women that have money. So when they date women that have money and they date women that comes from a family with money,
the average black woman in this country earns $37,000. So fully 50% of black men, 50% earn 42. 50% of black women earn 37. 74% of black women earn less than $50,000. And you're talking about these people who come from families and money. 80% of our children are from single parent households. You are talking about the top 10%. And you're talking about it like it's 100%. The numbers are against you.
The numbers.
Oh man, please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Just understand what I said.
Okay.
You are talking about women with money.
I understood fully what you said.
74% of black women earn less than $25,000 hours or less. Would
I
you
got
consider $50,000 to be money?
No, absolutely not.
So by 9% of black women earn $75,000 or more. 9.
Okay.
What do you consider to be money for a woman?
Their
Annually.
range. Their range. You just said 75,000 or more.
So you're talking about 9%, and I said 10.
It doesn't matter.
I just said you're talking about the top
concept,
10% of. She don't get it. I said you're talking about the top 10% of women as far as earnings. Like the average guy is going after 9% of women. Do men choose women based on money first?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my God, that's the perfect question. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Where are you from, man? Where are you from, man?
I'm from Mississippi.
Mississippi goddamn variants. I swear to God.
I'm from Mississippi.
When people are poor, they honestly believe, especially when you're poor-minded. So men pick women based on money.
Yes, absolutely. Status. Yes.
No, man. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's not even, I don't even want to do this, but I'm going to do you.
I'll make you famous.
You're going to become famous, man. Because men pick women based upon looks first. In the comment section, gentlemen. Ma'am, were you raised with your father?
I was.
Do you have any brothers?
I don't.
Okay. And you're how old again?
29.
You've been wrong on fully about 80% of the things that have come out of your mouth. And you haven't, and it doesn't matter if I use facts, data. You can go, and you're a social worker, go pull it all this for yourself. You're saying that men pick women based upon the money. Okay, then that's a question. Why do you have women like Jill Scott? What was that woman's name? Down here in Georgia. Ran for governor. Stacy, whatever her name is.
Oh yeah, the lady with you.
Mm-hmm. Why do you have these women who are chronically single if men pick women based upon money first? Why do black women report the more education they have and the more money they make being less married?
I don't know.
Well, according to what you say, men pick women based upon money first.
Yeah.
But according to the numbers, they don't. Stacey Abrams, successful woman. She has money. Where's her husband? Gabrielle Sidibe. She had to go get an average-looking white dude. Do you want to retract that statement?
I don't. I stand on that, and I believe that. I mean, that's just some women. I mean, some women that you're not. Oprah. Oprah has a man.
Oprah's unfucking married.
She's not married, but she has money.
Thank you.
But she could be married if she.
No, she couldn't. No, she couldn't.
Oprah could not be married to Stedman if she wanted to.
First of all, I move Oprah to the side because Oprah there's a question about something. Man, why? So, what do men choose women based upon? If women choose men based upon money, what do men choose women based upon?
Men choose women based upon money. Women pick men solely off love.
God. Ooh. And this is a social worker, y'all. I mean, I'm to the point where I don't even want to make any jokes because this is so sad.
It's the truth.
No, ma'am. You are danger, and you advise other women.
I do. Absolutely. Yes. I do. Absolutely. Yes.
Ma'am, you really shouldn't have said that.
Why? It's the truth. I wouldn't lie to you. It's the truth.
Because you shouldn't be advising anybody. This woman actually says men pick women based upon money. Then if that's the case, why do women who have PhDs and MBAs and everything else, why aren't they married? Especially in our community. Because we got the most educated women, right?
Yeah.
Okay, why do we have the lowest marital rate?
Sometimes
one in four black women will marry anybody. Not just black men. 1 in 4 black women will marry in their lifetime. So you can't make it a black man issue. If men excuse me, you're not gonna fucking put this on black men. I will destroy you if you try that shit. I said okay, as long as you don't try that, we can have the conversation, but 1 in 4 black women will marry in their lifetime. If we have the most educated, meaning making money and education, then why are they the least married? If men choose women based upon status.
Some women are very busy. They have busy schedules. Some educated women have very busy schedules. So they really don't have time to date.
Talk to me about, excuse me, ma'am. I don't want to talk about, see what you do is when you start losing an argument, you start to deflect to the minority. Talk to me about the majority, 50% of the women in question who are educated, but yet 1 in 4 were married. Don't talk to me about some, talk to me about the majority. Why are 1 in 4 marrying? And actually the marital rate drops as black women go up in education and up in income, which is an up in status. Why does marriage drop? Don't tell me about the ones that are some that are too busy. If men pick women based on if men pick women based on status, why are these higher status women more unmarried?
I believe that they get to the point where it's like, I've been single, I've been alone by myself, or while they're getting their education, they're dating, but it's just not a connection.
Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. Ma'am, you just contradicted your own point and you won't stop. You said men pick women on status, and I'm saying, why are the women that have more status less married? You said men pick women based on status. And you have to explain why the women who have higher status are less married.
They choose not to be. They choose not to be after.
This is your enemy, gentlemen.
Execute Order 66.
I'm going to be honest, man. I'm going to be honest. This conversation ranks right up there with that smile conversation I had. Black women not wanting to smile at black men. This is one of the saddest conversations I've had with a black woman in my life. And the fact that nothing I'm saying, none of the data, none of it, is moving you off of your erroneous, false, demonstrably erroneous percent. You're just doubling and tripling down. You haven't opened your mind and say, well, maybe, well, that doesn't really make sense. Or maybe that's what I thought or felt, but let me go back and you doubled and tripled down. Do you have a son or a daughter?
I have a son.
Holy shit. I'm gonna ask you something, okay? And I mean no disrespect, I really don't. But are you trolling me? Are you trolling me?
I'm not.
Well, even if we were talking as just two educated people, ma'am, do your feelings trump facts?
No.
So if you feel something is one way or another, and facts are presented to show you the opposite, do you change your mind?
Sometimes I have to, yeah.
Sometimes. Okay. Why would you not change your mind?
If I have this just gut feeling, if I just had this strong feeling, I won't waver off of it.
So if facts, impartial, you will, and you can be proven factually that something is correct, true, right. You're saying that as an educated woman, that there are times where you'll sit back and just ignore the facts based upon a strong gut feeling.
Yes.
Is that how you're going to raise your son?
Off my morals, yes.
That's not morals. Are you going to raise your son to look at facts that he can verify and prove, scientific method or whatever, and then say, I'm going to go off my strong gut feeling? Is that how you're going to raise your son?
Yes.
We have another young black statistic, y'all. And I'm serious. People think I hate black women, and I do this to show you the sickness in our community. You really believe this is right. This is, I don't even need to say anything else. The world is different for men than for women. Women can get away more with doing things that way. You do realize this is why so many young black men are in jail, because they go off on their feelings based upon their facts. But then you sit around and turn around to the same group of women talking about black men can't produce. They don't make enough money to provide. But you, ma'am, are the kind of woman that raises a boy to go off of his feelings, his strong gut. How do you think that's going to set your son up to compete with men of other races?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that.
How old is your son?
12.
When the fuck do you think you should start thinking about it? I'm not being funny, man. I'm not trying to talk to you seriously. You're raising a 12-year-old black boy, and you're telling everybody in here that I'll raise him to believe in his gut over things that he can see is true. And you want him to go out into that dangerous world. What's going to protect him if his senses and his logic doesn't? What's supposed to protect him?
Morals, values.
Feelings are not morals. You keep calling things morals. These are feelings. You're not supposed to emotionally respond. You're supposed to intellectually react. And you guys wonder why we have so many emotional young black men, because this is their mother. And they make it sound like a virtue. Morals. This isn't morals. It's illogical, feelings-based thinking.
What's wrong with having emotions? What's wrong with acting?
When it is opposite to observable, verifiable truth, facts. When 2 + 2 is 4, And you still say, I believe it's 3 because that's my morals. I'm serious. What do you not understand that?
I get that.
So what's the question?
It's no question, Mr. Simmons. I was just listening.
No, I'm asking what's the question because you're saying what's wrong with having morals. Man, morals is right or wrong. Facts are prove or disprove. 2 + 2 is 4. What is the right or wrong in that equation?
It's not 3. You said 3. No, it's 4. That's the right. It's 4.
Yeah, but if your gut told you that's not all the picture, man, you've said it several times that you can look at something and think or believe something, and then you can be given facts, data, statistics, things that you can verify and prove yourself by whatever method, scientific method, an abacus, whatever, and you can come up with the same conclusion that this is right, this is accurate. And you said there are times where I'll dismiss it. And I say, what? If I feel strongly.
Through life experiences.
I'm going to be honest, ma'am. I'm going to say something that's going to sound rude. I'm not trying to be rude. But this is that down south, old slave, Negro, just, man, this isn't about life experiences. This is about facts. If you can, and here's the thing. You're looking like you just can't understand. You're raising a boy to think like you. Men don't get the same benefits and the same benefit of the doubt. Is his dad in his life?
He is.
But you take the leadership role in what he does.
Not all the time.
Okay. Well, how we got here is this woman actually said that she thinks that men choose women based upon looks and status, and then men choose women based upon love. Then we broke down the numbers of 74% of Black women earn less than $50,000, and 9% of Black women earn over $74,000. So I said the women she was talking about was in the top 10%. She disagreed, and it turned out they're in the top 9%. And even given facts that you can go look up on blackdemographics.com, that's been collated and sorted by everything else, she still said men choose women of a higher status. And I said, well, then why do Black women who report to be the most educated and report as they go up in education and income, the marital percentages go down? That flies in face of your theory. And she still said, I'm right. You realize at no point have you changed anything you said in the face of better data.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get anywhere with women like you if you're not willing to change your mind in the evidence of in when you sit down and have a conversation and the man presents better data and women like yourself refuse to change your mind? How do we get anywhere?
I don't know. I'm gonna stand on that. That's what I believe.
Okay. Are you okay? Okay, so if your son was dealing with a woman
Mm-hmm.
and he was right, based upon everything that's observable, verifiable, facts, figures, data, statistics, and she believed like you, she's just gonna stand on what she believes, what would you tell him to do with her? Would you tell him to stay with her, continue to work with her? What would you tell him to do?
I would tell him to, if he feels like he want to stay, then continue to work with her. But if he can't, he feel like he couldn't get through to her and she wasn't.
Well, no, ma'am. There's no getting through. You've already tried. And she says, I'm going to stand her like you're doing. If she was taking your stance, what would you tell your son to do with her?
If he didn't want to be with her anymore, I would tell him.
No, it has nothing to do with want to be with her. This is a matter of Somebody has to lead, somebody has to follow. Choices have to be made. See, she's trying to deflect because she doesn't want to say the truth. If she's going to stand, you're at an impasse. He's over here, she's over there. A decision has to be made. She's not going to be budged. She's not going to budge. She's not cooperating. She's not agreeing.
Because she doesn't agree?
She doesn't agree, and she doesn't agree based upon her feelings. She doesn't agree. It's not that she doesn't agree based upon any of the facts or the data. It's solely based upon her stringent belief. What are you going to tell your son to do with a woman like that? Because if he's supposed, his wife, the woman he's with, what are you going to tell her to do with her?
This is wife. What?
Are you going, his girlfriend, before he becomes his wife? See, what do you tell your son to do with a woman that will not follow his lead, will not change her mind based upon anything that's verifiable and provable? If it's only, she makes decisions based primarily on her feelings. What do you tell your son to do? Do you tell him to stay or do you tell him to leave her?
Stay. Why? Just because of
this is where that Maury Povich shit, where boys are going, and Maury recognizes that you're not the father, and these mothers tell these boys that you're gonna stay in that child's life. You've been there for the first 2 years, and we're gonna raise it. This is the pathology. Thank you, man. Have a good evening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Jesus H. fucking Christ. This has been one of the most watershed moments in anything I've ever done. That is it, people. That mother said she would tell her son to stay in that shit. And you guys think we make this up.
And that's it for this one. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. I really appreciate you spending time here with me. It means a lot. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely love reading what you all have to say. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.